So today I'm going to be talking about some charities that y'all are probably familiar with. World Vision, the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund, which is quite a mouthful, the United States Department of Agriculture. These are some common groups. A lot of y'all are probably familiar with at least one or two of these. And these are groups that a lot of people donate to. The United States, according to the World Giving Index, is 5th in terms of charitable giving, so pretty good, and it's been a lot higher in years past. And according to the Journal of Applied Economics, the people who donate to charities, it doesn't really depend on how wealthy you are, so it goes from super wealthy people to poor college students, like the majority of us. So it really applies to everyone. These groups receive a ton of donations. World Vision received $550 million in individual cash donations alone last year. So there's a lot of money moving through these groups. But while they intend to help, and while people donating try hard to help, these groups actually can have some really negative consequences for the groups they're trying to help. One of the #1 groups that has had some harmful effects has been our government, the United States Department of Agriculture. They respond to natural disasters in other places with foreign aid. So an example of this is the Haitian earthquake in 2009, which some of y'all may remember. It killed a lot of people, and it left a whole lot of people without food or drinking water or shelter. And so they responded by lowering tariffs on rice and subsidizing rice imports to Haiti, which basically means they made it really easy for American farmers to sell rice really affordably to Haiti, which sounds great, but the negative of that was that it drove the local farmers out of business. So then when they pulled out, they were left with no source of food. Bill Clinton had tried some similar strategies during his presidency, and he spoke out against it, saying, "It was a mistake. I have to live every day with the consequences of the lost capacity to produce a rice crop in Haiti, defeat those people because of what I did." But despite his warnings, they continued with this strategy and have continued today. Some quotes from local farmers. Renan Reynolds said, "I can't make any money off my rice with all the foreign rice there is now. If I can't make any money, I can't feed my family." And Simas Doval said, "It was almost for free, like a gift." And it's hard to compete with a gift, and in some instances, that was literally what it was. Another group that has done a lot of this has been World Vision. It's a Christian group that focuses a lot on foods to areas that are lacking it, which can have really positive short-term effects because people genuinely need this food, but in the long run, it can have really negative economic effects. And the other thing Haiti's had a lot of after the earthquake was solar panels, interestingly enough, because Haiti's always had some problems with energy, like they don't have a lot of power, most people don't have electricity, but in recent years, local people have started developing businesses for solar panels so that people can, have power without having to have power lines run to their house, basically. But after the earthquake, people started really looking at Haiti and saying, okay, what do these people need? And they thought, solar panels, and donated massive amounts. The United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund donated a ton of these, and it did some really damaging things. Alex Georges said, "It comes from a good heart. People had this conception that in Haiti there's nothing, so I have to come with everything. We really suffered from that perception. From an average before the earthquake of 50 streetlights a month, from January to June, we sold 5. So a lot of these organizations are really sincerely trying hard to help people, but because of a lack of understanding of the local economies and culture, they've ended up doing some really long-term harm. A quote from the article, "Humanitarianism That Harms," said that even among relief officials, there is no disagreement over the failure of the NGO, which is non-governmental associations of charities, community in supporting self-reliance projects. And self-reliance projects are ones that aim at empowering people to be able to support themselves and no longer need charities. This was summed up in the article Needs and Agency Conflict by Randall Fedgley. He said, "NGO activities may impede local political processes that could allow beneficiaries of assistance to become masters of their own destinies." So these organizations are trying to help. They have good intentions, but a lot of times they end up causing some really negative side effects. So what are some ways we can improve the state of things? We can donate, but it's important to donate responsibly. Our actions have effects, and a lot of times it feels like donating's like, you're already giving money, so it's kind of a sacrifice. But we need to go a step further if we're going to and be sure that our actions don't actually cause harm. We can vote. in her article, How to End Hunger, Josette Sheeran said that subsidy reform was a key way to improve the state of things and to work to ending hunger, so making sure that we're not flooding these economies with food that they could produce. And also, hold the charities accountable. There are some charities that maybe won't listen, but the majority of charities are good people who are genuinely trying to help. Tom's Shoes is a great example of this. Some of y'all have heard of them. They have the thing where you buy a pair and they donate a pair of shoes. They ended up doing the same thing where they were competing with the locals and during the out of business, and people spoke up and they changed the way they operate. And it is possible to make a difference, but we just need to do it carefully. Everyone in this class has something you want to persuade people of. We've all been having speeches. Some of y'all have brought up charities and things to donate to, but it's important that that's coupled with careful thought and planning and action that's genuinely effective. So hold on to your passion for serving others, but do it well, and in the long run, you can have an awesome effect for other people's lives.